Give us some tips, please. I think you're going in the right direction. Even for our own sandwich stories, we're looking at these kind of things, like how the algorithm works. To crack that algorithm is one of the hardest things. And since you are in that business, I mean, what is the way you are? Because it's also evolving, right? Like Google ads and all that. So how is it that you keep up to date that this is what we need to do to make sure you're on top?
I charge, okay?
Is that the first step? Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I do charge for the consultation also, just in case. Just to give you a very surface level understanding, I wouldn't get to the
Yeah.
or the jargons of it,
Sure. Sure.
obviously. So, like I said, these are the basics that you need to start doing. That is why a lot of times I tell them don't look at ads as the
Mm.
first way to go. You need to have all of these basics correct, or create a landing page that's just for the ads, because when I click on the ad, I need to come to the page that you're looking, where I've seen the ad for.
Mhm.
For example, if you're promoting formal wear and I click on your page and I'm coming to the main page or the casual section of the website or the e-commerce site, there is a bounce because that is not what I was looking for.
Okay.
Maybe a conversion might happen. They might scroll, navigate around and then come to your page and probably pick up two, three things as well. But if I'm looking for formal wear and your ad came up and I've clicked on it and the landing page is not showing me that, then there is an immediate bounce.
Okay. Bounce means it goes back.
That is, I will come out of your website.
Okay, got it.
That's a bounce.
Hmm.
So how Google will take the seconds and the time that you've stayed there to understand it's a bounce. Okay. And in terms of the analytics, like I was talking to you, you might have hundreds to thousands and lakhs and millions of followers and likes. It's not a big deal to buy or run an ad and get those. But how is it converted in terms of the engagement? Is your post getting the likes, followers? Are they saving it? Are they sharing it? If it is on Instagram, is this happening? And if it is on LinkedIn, is it talking the right language to the LinkedIn audience? You can't use the same post as your Facebook and Instagram to your LinkedIn audience. It's very different.
How should it be different? I mean, more professional. Is that
absolutely?
okay?
It is very professional audience, right? You're talking to the CEOs, founders, co-founders, or the CFOs and the CTOs of the companies, and people are looking for jobs. People are maintaining their profile in terms of they being the subject matter experts. So there is a certain HNI people that you're talking about. There is a certain level of people that you're talking about, talking to as well. So, considering which platform or the category of business you're into, you need to choose your audience as well. If you want, or if you're looking for an audience, or if your target audience is somebody, the CEOs and CTOs and the founders of the company, then you being on Instagram doesn't make sense at all, right? Of course, some influencers have broken that, like even finance. There are a lot of influencers who talk content on Instagram and they've become famous. So you need
Fin
to
influencers, they call them. Fin influencers, right?
yes, absolutely. So there are a lot of different sectors which probably those stereotype thoughts have broken. I'm not denying, but if I am looking for a finance, probably say somebody who could help me invest, right? I'm not going to go to Instagram. I will still go to LinkedIn, right? Or I will go to a friend. So you need to balance it out on which platform and where you want to be. Or you want to be on Instagram and then probably get in touch with these influencers and then probably collaborate to do something, then that's a strategy we come up with.
Okay.
And all of this has to be measured, no matter organic, inorganic, no matter what you're running, even if it is an email marketing. We don't buy the emails, no matter who the client is. We'll always tell the client, even if you have 50 to 100 emails to start off with, we will still use the email IDs that you have.
Okay.
Because that is concrete. That is strong email IDs, which will have a response to your email. If I'm going to buy it, maybe in a lakh, 80% of it is redundant or just created to sell it to you.
Fake. Okay.
Right? Or they may not even be in the category that you're looking for.
Mm.
But this that you're actually giving me, the 100 or 1000 or 5000, whatever you have, it can be a small number, but we know that there is going to be a good response.
Mm.
After an email is sent out, um, 3 days later, we send out a follow up email.
Mm.
But in that 3 days, the second, after 2 days, 2 working days, we test out and see the report of how your first email has worked for you.
Mm.
Of course, we use tools to run these emails, the mass mailing tools like iContact or even MailChimp that everybody knows. That. And that as well, we again strategize what kind of company, who's your audience, should there be an image, should there be no image,
Mm.
is the email on a template or again it is developed, what and how and why, where, and all of that.
Mm.
We even strategize what time the email should be sent. If it is a time that we cannot be there, then of course we would have run the test emails, we would have scheduled the email using these tools
Mm.
itself. Once it has happened, 2 working days later, we test out and see who all have received the email. Has it gone to their inbox? Has it gone to their spam folder? Or is it a bounce, and why is it a bounce? And everything is given to you by the tool, but we analyze all of this.
Okay.
The second follow up email will only go to the people who have not received your email, not to the ones who have received your first email
Mm-hmm.
and not opened your email.
Okay.
And the follow up will have the connection of the first email as well. Sometimes we, even when we test out, there'll be two subject lines which we think will do well.
Mm.
Then we divide 50-50. And am I giving you too much tips free of
No,
cost?
I mean, I would say no because I can get more from you. See, actually, it's not like that. I mean, if you feel that something has to be like,
No, no, of course, I'm just kidding. You can use it. I'll tell you. I mean, I can give you free advice. You
yeah,
can use it. But I
yeah,
come with experience. You will come with Google knowledge
uh,
or to a limited knowledge. After a while, you can't do it. You have to come to an expert. So I'm very proud about what I do. So please go for it.
all likes. We just want likes. That's it.
Yeah, I know. So when it is two subject lines we are not too sure of, we split and we test out which is run well. The follow-up mail will have the one that is
Mm.
run well.
Mm.
All of these will happen while you're on the go, while you're running the campaign, be
Mm.
it no matter what campaign it is. It can't be like, okay, just because it worked for you, it will. If you're a dental clinic and if somebody else has, I cannot tell this is work for them, it is going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their location was different or the kind of patients that they were looking for to come in, and
Mm.
you can't avoid a walk-in,
Right.
but who is it that's going to make a conscious effort to walk into your clinic?
Mm.
That is what we are looking for when we run the ad or when we run any campaign,
Mm-hmm.
organic or inorganic. That can be controlled. So according to that, we will have to plan the platforms as well.
So the strategy, right? You're saying how long is it? I mean, I believe all of this is happening in terms of projects, like whenever a client comes, right? So how long are these phases? Like there will be a strategy phase, and then there'll be the execution, development phase, and things, right? And then analytics phase. So how long are each of these phases, and are there any ways for you to, how are they measuring this? Basically, the client, right? What will tell them that yeah, this was a good decision for me, like after approaching you. Is it the leads that comes in, and how are you telling that yeah, this is I've done my job, right? Like that.
Right. Um, Actually, it's very dynamic and agile. Uh, it starts even before they become our client, actually. So when you talk to us, for example, if you're coming to me for a website, right? A lot of basic planning is actually done even before they sign off with us.
Mm.
Um, can you actually take that and go to somebody like a freelancer and get your work done? Absolutely.
Mm.
Am I still taking that risk? Yes, because I want to be truthful to what I'm doing. I always tell people the minute they pick up the phone, they'll say, "Tell me the cost. Tell me the cost of this website."
Price sensitive.
Right? And I tell them, "No, I cannot give it to you because I don't sell packages.
Mm.
And I feel it's very unfair to sell packages.
Okay.
I will charge you according to the effort that is going in from my people and for you,
Mm.
for the company that you have. So I will get the details of your company and what category or what industry you belong to. Based on that, I will also try and get who are your competition.
Mm.
And I will do my research. My team will do the research for your competitors. What are they doing? What are the kind of platforms they are in? Which is working for them and not working for them? Why do you have to take that route if you have to?
Mm.
And we check on all of this. And then we also try and understand what is your objective.
Okay.
Okay. And once we understand all of that, we will give you a sitemap or the pages on your website. And it might work, it may not work, or some things might work. We will have a discussion over a call or a Zoom call or a meeting and say, okay, this we can hold off later, we can add this, we can, all of those edits will happen. Once I have the final sitemap, then I'll again understand if you're looking for SEO, which is adding the keywords so that we can include that in the content and all of that. And once all of this is ready is when you'll get the costing. So first is what my scope of work will come to the client, which will have all of these details. So exactly, I will know what are the pages and the sub pages if there are, and the number of pages on your website. That is what will get charged for you. Even when the costing comes, it is split SEO, on page, off page if we are going for, what are the costing and what is the timeline for it, and content development, designing, execution, and maintenance. These are the costing. Everything is specifically given to you. So the client shouldn't feel suddenly my pockets are empty.
Right.
Right. And I don't take all of this money at once. Every stage, there is a certain stage that you would have given to you. And level one, okay, the keywords are done, content is done. That is when, of course, the sign off, we have a certain payment. Then the keywords and the content writing is given to you, and you have signed off on all the pages, approved. And while the first and second pages are approved, the wireframe is already getting done from my design team. And if it is on a template, it is already getting designed on a template, because the template would have been shared with you much before, and we already know what we're going to work on. If the client is going to give us the videos and the photos, that is already being collected in parallel, and we are already working on it. So that we do not wait for that 10-day period that I've told you to deliver it. If I can give it to you in 7 days or 8 days, great for both of us. Yeah. And you will also have a good impression about me. So of course, we will always have buffer working days. You can get busy, I can get busy, or anything can happen, and there might be delays, right? And tech, you can't always rely on it. So there might be a lot of delays. If it is developed from the scratch, sometimes first it is hosted on my server, then it is hosted on your server. Even though the debugging would have happened, there would still be new bugs when we host it on a server. So all of that would take time. Okay. So all of this will come to you very clearly. And after every stage is when you make the payment. So the client also shouldn't feel the pinch, because I don't want the client to think that Ramya is only for marketing, or Just a Thought is only for marketing. I've always had relationship with my client where if like there have been times where it's not the literal terms, but even if the fan isn't working, they're ready to give me a call and say, hey, listen, my fan isn't working. That's the kind of dependency I try to create. Not in a wrong way, but that is how much I want them to trust my company and my people.
Okay, that's nice. So now when you're saying, right, like that, there will be a team who most probably you'll be there'll be freelancers, or you have a dedicated team for working on development and things. Is it like how is it for you in that case? Because there may be multiple projects coming in, and then to manage your manpower also, you would need to plan that out, right? Like so. I mean, right now, when you said there will be different phases, there could be cases where each of the team are working on different projects. Now, how are you actually hiring and managing the manpower? Actually,
so one thing is, I feel okay. One is I have my own team for development, for designing.
They're always together, core team.
I have my core team,
okay,
and I get the work done with my content writer or designer or developer, all of that. And if I do not have the expertise and I'm collaborating with another marketer, I'm very open about it to my clients.
Okay.
I tell them I don't have the expertise or I don't have the bandwidth. Can I connect you to this person so that you can handle or talk to them directly?
But it's like your sale going out, right? I mean, or is it like a referral?
Like I said, only if I do not have the expertise with me. So I always consult with my team no matter what project it is. Even if it is a project that we are good at and experts at, I feel if you keep your employees happy, one is the attrition is equal to 0, which is what my company is very, for me, attrition is literally equal to 0, especially if you're a startup.
Wow.
And if you keep them happy, your work happens happy, your clients are happy, of course, at the end of the day, you're happy.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. And I don't have 9 to 5s. I don't do Monday to Fridays
Ah.
or Saturdays. I don't have fixed timings for anybody's work.
Mhm.
I always work at least a week or two in advance with all my clients unless there is something that's urgently come up.
Hmm.
Considering I have women in my team, including myself, so we have our own ways of dealing with things. We are handling at home, at work. Maybe somebody has a child, drop off the child. We have a single dad. He also has all of these work to do. So considering we all have our issues, or we can fall sick, or there might be an emergency,
Hmm. Hmm.
we can't jeopardize the client's work.
Hmm. Hmm.
Of course, you will let the client know, but work has to happen, right?
Hmm.
And thankfully, I've had clients who are very understanding. Even if there has been a delay, they've been very understanding about it. And because of these reasons, I work a week or two in advance.
Okay.
And I have not worked with freelancers. I do not have an issue working with freelancers provided my work is prioritized.
Mhm.
As of now, thank God, it's been my own company, my own people who have been working for everything.
Mhm.
Whenever I'm collaborating, I tell the prospect or the client, and when I tell them, I directly put you across so that you can talk to them.
Mm.
They're very happy with just talking to me. So they're like, no problem. You handle it. It's okay. We just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to Just a Thought. That's enough for us. So that is a trust that I've tried to gain as well, right? So that is good for me. So that is what happens. And has it been where I've collaborated? Yes. Has it been that I've tried to work with freelancers? Yes. But somehow it has always been my core team that has worked.
Mm.
And interns is something I haven't explored, which I am looking at exploring now.
Mm.
And maybe once or twice, because somebody has asked me to work with them, I have, but otherwise not looked into myself.
Mhm.
Um, and all of this happens in a very agile way all the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay. So on a given day, like how many projects are running like at the back end? Because I'm asking this question again because I in my mind when you speak about your team and everything, it's a capacity, right? Limited capacity.
Right.
So if you want to scale or you want to do more projects which might excite you, how would you handle that? And also like when you're across your experience of this many years of handling things, which was your favorite industry or like something which challenged you the most? For which you had to do a digital marketing and promote their thing because you would have had the diversity in terms of clients, right? So if you could elaborate on that.
So like I was telling you, like I would always go back to my team and say, hey, do you have the bandwidth to take it? What if they are going through something personal and they don't have the bandwidth to take it? Even if it is on another day, it would have been, yeah, of course you can take it. So if they say a no, I will still see. Thankfully, I started being part of a company and doing all of this myself. So there are times I will ask them, can I do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps? Can you handle the 6, 7 steps? So if they say yes, then I still take it up. Has there been a time where I've taken it up and my person has had an emergency and they cannot handle it and I've still gone ahead? Yes, because I can still finish the work. So I will try and say no, not to a client. But if it is still not going to happen and it's just going to jeopardize my 9.5 years of name that has
Trust,
been
yeah.
gained and that credibility and that trust, like you mentioned, that okay, we can go to Ramya even at the last minute or just a thought last minute and our work will be delivered. I'm not ready to swing on that name that I have gained. So if I have to say a no, I will tell them, or I will ask them, hey, listen, instead of 2 days, I will need a week for this. Are you okay to give me that time? If they say yes, then great. That's another thing.
Okay.
And in terms of a client that interests me,
The industries basically.
or the industry, I don't know if I should say it. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't want to push away the other.
The others will get angry.
But I'll just give you a very basic. B2C is something that is always interesting because there's so much more to explore: social media, digital marketing, website, colors, and styling, creativity, and all that. But something that's been very close to my heart and somebody who really tickled my brains and probably the entire company's brains and pushed to our limits was it's a government-based company, and they were one of the first ones. So it's a finance-based company. Let me rephrase that for you. So government and finance.
Okay.
When GST came out initially, these experts were the one of the first to give out GST in the most simplified manner.
Okay.
And I was working for their LinkedIn space, and they gave me the leeway to explore and experiment with the colors, with the kind of pose, the Q&As and videos and everything. They gave me free hand. And even when we ran the ads, there were times where I've been like, no, this is not going to work for you. And the client is like, no, still go ahead. I'm like, no, I'm the expert in the field. My expertise says this is not going to work for you. And the client is like, no, I want this, do it. And has it worked all the time in their favor or my favor? It has been both. But the good part of this entire work process was also that they're very well experienced and senior uh, uh, experts in the field. They've been in this business for over 30-35 years. So one is I'm dealing with them and their level
of thoughts.
thoughts and experience and all that. So that itself is like, okay, am I talking the right words and using the right sentences? Is it conveying the right message? I also had to be that prepared. Okay. I was I nervous every time I met them? Every single time. Okay. Even after they were my 2 years client, I was nervous every single time because I had to match with them. Okay. But there was so much learning. When it didn't work according to what they said, and I was like, listen, I told you this. And they were like, yeah, it's a learning. And if it worked according to what they said and I was wrong, they're like, see, it worked.
Yeah.
So that was like, oh, yeah, it's a learning. So both of them encouraged and supported each other. There have been times where we've literally fought, like, we've hit the table and said, you know what, this is not working.
Wow.
You're not listening to me and all of that. We've taken a break from our meeting because we have not agreed on a certain point. But these were healthy arguments. These were healthy learning, and we were trying to brainstorm and probably make both of us think if this will work and not. Considering the kind of uh, for someone who's not into finance, to read about finance and understand would be very boring.
Yeah.
They made it so interesting. And thank God for all the colors and experimentation that they were ready for. It looked interesting for people. People were ready to take it. And that is, they're not my client anymore, but they're still very close to my heart. In fact, I'm still in touch with the founders and the partners of the company. And it is still like they're like my mentors. There is always a learning that happens. Even now, when I talk to them or meet them, there's so much content when they talk to me. I'm like, oh God, there is still so much learning. And that is where I also remember, okay, Ramya, there is so much more to learn. You're just like a little tiny dot in this entire world. That's also probably that keeps me humble, and it will make you remember that you started with zero, and always remember that you started with.
So to say, tax isn't that boring, friends. I mean, that's what we can.
If you ask me, it is, but they made it interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
But I mean, if you are asking me about it, I would say, it still drains me. So I would rather give it to an expert and say, please handle it. Just tell me what I'm supposed to give it to you, and I will do that.
So when you spoke about angry moments in meetings with clients, in fact, which is healthy, has it always been rosy? Has it been like you had to do something to get back in terms, or just want to talk about if there were any, or rather, let me put it this way: like what are the challenges involved in dealing with clients in your space, even technically, right? Like so most of them might not have the same level of understanding in terms of technology as you. So to get them to that level, and is there that kind of difficulties, and also like overall, like to run this kind of a business, what are the challenges?
Has it always been rosy? Definitely not. There have been times where we had to pull out of a project because it was just not working. Sometimes it's a boon and a pain, right? It's like online marketing, digital marketing. There are so many courses, everything is available online. Sometimes prospects talk to us saying, I know how to do this, I'm just coming to you.
Okay.
I know how to run a social media platform, or I know how to develop a website myself. It's just that I don't have the time for it, so I'm just coming to you. So I know how.
Opinionated kind of.
So they already have this notion that, it's very simple work. I don't have the time for it, so I'm just coming to you. A lot of times I tell them, make time and do it yourself if you know. Because then you don't need an expert, because you know it, and it's your own business, so you definitely need to make time. Of course, you need to maybe crunch your time to get the work done, but I would really suggest you to do it, because you exactly know what you want. It's running in your head, right? You can execute it. Have they come back after years and said, no, we went into, probably we didn't hire the right company, or we hit a wrong space, or we hired a wrong person, or I tried to do it myself and it was taking longer? Yes, that has happened. And I feel very happy when that happens. Because whatever reasons that they didn't come to me for, they are coming back themselves. So I don't have to sell, the buying has already happened. And that's my half work done. And so how do we deal with these challenges? Sometimes it is difficult, but do we have to put our foot down and say, we have no other choice than to take a step back? We have done it. Because if the client is like, no, just do this, just do that. Like, there was a website that we were working on, and it was a very good company that we were working for. And what they wanted was very extensive. It was 30 to 40 page website. But the costing that they were looking was for maybe a 3 or 4 page website.
Isn't that always the case?
Right? Yeah, but that is too bad a math to do.
Yeah, agreed.
At least 30 to, when they say 20, there is some comparison. This is not even like, percentage wise also, it is not happening. But so then we decided from developing the website to using a template. But then there was so much involvement from the marketing person of their company that they literally started guiding us on how they want everything to be done after the entire design and the contract has been signed off. Where we were literally editing the template itself. And
too much involvement, like scope. There's no scope for your own creativity to come in.
And it is not what we had agreed on. Obviously, it is going to take a more manpower, efforts, timelines, everything. So it is going to cost you more. But we are still trying to keep up with this. And changing and reworking on a template is worse than developing a site from scratch. Because you can't change certain things. Of course, you can use Elementor and all of that to change if it is WordPress, but you can't change certain columns and rows. If you're pushing that, that means you are rewriting the entire code, which is going to become difficult. And of course, it is double the effort that we actually planned for. So these are certain times where we had to put our foot down and say, okay, this is work. So we delivered the project, but literally had to put a full stop to where it was heading towards and say, forget it. We still don't mention them as our client even today after 9 years that we ever dealt with them. Because we don't want somebody to say, oh, is this the website your company developed? Because this is definitely not what we were asked to or designed, or this is not what we both came into agreement for. And it was not in line with their industry is what we thought. So we said, forget it, don't use our name. And we are not going to use your name. So has it happened nastily? Yeah. That is something very early in my business space that I learned, is learn to say a no. And sometimes when you're already talking to a prospect, that is it going to be a difficult client that you're going to handle? Do you want it? Is it the sanity of your people and yourself? Because we do have personal life. And we also have a Monday. We also have a Saturday and a Sunday. We also need family time, me time. So not at the cost of that. So do we still need to go ahead and deal with it? Is what we ask a question ourselves. Have we made a mistake? Of course, yes. It's a learning.
Learning. Not, we don't use the word mistake. We use the word learning.
Of course, right? I mean, it's not put in stone. So you have to. Sometimes everything works great. I tell any of my prospect, the initial conversation is like the courtship time of your relationship. Everything is working perfect. Somebody is late, that is great. Somebody has a bad habit, that's too cute. Everything is great, and you both are talking exactly what you both want to hear from each other. It's the maintenance of the relationship that's difficult. Once we sign off the contract and we start working with the client, is when, maybe the client doesn't like you, or you don't like the client, or the communication is what you wanted, or asked for. Maybe they're WhatsApping you, you want it on mail. It can be as simple as that. But are you ready to make those adjustments? Are you saying, okay, you WhatsApp it to me, I will email it to you? That's what I tell my client. We'll always look at solution oriented for any of the problem we get. That is what I feel we should look at, more solutions than looking at the problem by itself. But if you continue to give solution and there is continuity of a problem arising, then maybe you need to. So it's a learning process.
Great, Ramya. So, I mean, I just as a final question, right? Like, I mean, I just want to ask you, like, you were saying there in two modulation of voices, right? Like, what was the sentence again? Remind me, please.
Oh, you're doing okay.
Yeah, something.
Not exactly, but something on the lines of, oh, you started a company. Let me go.
So something like that. So basically, the second modulation is where people are watchful of what the other person is doing, right?
Right.
So we have noticed in in Instagram and Facebook, everywhere we get a lot of inorganic likes. Now, is there any way to identify someone who's getting those? No, simple answer there. All right. So nice. I mean, Ramya, this was like an intense conversation again, like certain things I understood which I've never heard about. So, Ramya, this was a great conversation. I mean, just a thought. In fact, we wanted to inquire more about your other businesses or other entrance into other businesses that you've made. But we'll keep that for another episode. For now, thanks a lot for coming forward and answering all the questions patiently. And if anybody is looking out for a digital marketing firm that they want to reach out to, we have the names here, and it'll be dropped down in the video. So thanks, Ramya. And on that closing note, we hope to see you back again.
Thank you so much. Like, you made it so easy. You made it so conversational. I didn't have to be that nervous as I was.
Like, share, and subscribe.